Hello everyone, it's Ali from Ali's Stitching Studio. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm back with a little bit of an update on what I've been doing in my stitching room. Lots to talk about, and it's basically all peacock related because those of you who have been following me will know that I'm doing a year of stitching on peacock charts to try and get my wall of peacocks up in the lounge room. So I have tackled some big projects and some smaller projects. I've had some finishes and it's been quite exciting. I haven't been bored yet. So this started in May this year. So I've got another 6 months or so before it's, I'm only halfway through before it's finished, and absolutely loving it, and have enjoyed just knuckling down and focusing on this goal and seeing what I can get through. So the first one I wanted to talk about was my one that I'm currently working on. I've been working on her for about a month or so, and this was kindly gifted to me by Sarah from Stitching Money. I'm very appreciative. She sent me this kit I should say. It's the Teresa Wentzler Peacock Tapestry. Now this came to me, it's an old style kit from the 90s, I think, 92. And it had the hanks that were unsorted, the hand-drawn cross-stitch chart, which I'm here to tell you was basically unintelligible. I couldn't make hide nor hair of that. And so I looked at those things and I was quite scared of sorting all the hanks, and I thought, no, hang on. I just systematically, and I was down at the dining room table one day and I just sat down and I thought, I'm going to work through this and see. And thankfully, to the new trend of floss drops in this world, I don't do that. I have all my stuff bobbinated. But thinking through the process of doing such a big project as this project has, so far I've done a lot and I'll show you. I've only done one symbol that's a single colour. Everything else I've done is blends. So this has 79 blends in it. This chart has 79 symbols that are blends. And some of those blends are the 2 DMC threads plus a blending filament on top. So you have to be on it. You have to be focused. You have to be really there when you're stitching this. But I've just started and I've run with it and I've absolutely loved it, guys. It has really, really surprised me. I do not want to put it down. My initial thought was I'd just start the project and get over the fear of starting the Teresa Wentzler and just go. But I just went and I don't want to stop stitching on it. And even now, and I'll show you what I mean by it having different types of stitches in it. So this is where I'm up to, I think, in about 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks stitching. So you can see I've gone down the borders. I've gotten quite a bit of the peacock tail in. I'll see if I can show you up close. Look at the beautiful, beautiful corner piece. This border comes in quite quickly. I go down and work on that, and just keep going down and do one colour at a time and keep going with it, one symbol at a time, and work that for as long as I can. I've got some parked threads there from the trees. These trees are going to be a lot of work, but I'll get into that as I go. I've done quite a bit. There is quite a bit of back stitching to go on the trees. Isn't this magnificent, this little corner piece here? That's gold thread. Can you see? There's gold on the border in back stitching. I'm not sure what you can see here. There's some gold beads to go between the diamond eyelets. There's 16-point diamond eyelets in the border. They're fun to do. You can see those along there. I've completed pretty well the top border. I've got a little bit more to do through here. But you can see how, if you're doing that border, it's a repeat down here. So you can come on with your colours from there down to here. And obviously it's got the 4 corner blocks. That one's absolutely complete apart from the beads to go. There's beads to go into this. But she's an amazing designer, Teresa Wentzler. I cannot believe the look and the feel of this project purely with DMC colours, one blending filament that's peacocky colours, and one blending filament that's gold. They're fine to work with. I haven't found them particularly nasty. I've just put them on here, the gold on here. Now how I decided to sort this kit, I've said on Instagram I'll show some people because they're showing an interest in it. Because of the trend of floss drops, I had to think about how I want to do it, and I don't have any of that here. I suppose I could have just cut some card out. But we had some packs of playing cards from the casino from like 30 years ago. My husband had them in the cupboard, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I could use them. And they had a hole in the centre anyway. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of threads in this chart. So I'm able to keep them all, and I just had these little things here. I've just numbered them with a Sharpie pen. They're in numerical order. I can easily find what I'm looking for. So the symbols have mostly two. There's 79 blended threads, as I said. So I might have a symbol that these are the two colours. So I look these out and I have them on my side, and then I just pull out a thing of each and have them, and then I work that symbol until it's logically finished. So I'm not doing half a dozen stitches of one symbol, then moving to another blended symbol and another blended symbol and another blended symbol. What I'm sticking on, and this border is a classic example, I've just stitched for hours down on this in this red symbol that goes all the way down and just followed it through. And it's quite mindless and repetitive. So I don't even have to refer to a chart to do that border for those these ones here. And there's quarter stitches in that. So it's 4 straight stitches, quarter stitch to create the diamond, another 4 stitches. So this chart, if you love her designs and you've been quite scared, I mean, the first thing I did, I knew I had to go on and get the digital PDF chart because, as I said, I can't show you the chart, but her hand-drawn chart was unintelligible. I had no chance of reading that. The back stitchings over the top of it, it was just way, way, way too hard. And I've done a lot of hand-drawn charts from the 80s and 90s, but this was unreadable. I'm very, very happy that, is it Patterns Online? Craft Patterns Online? Something like that. Anyway, I'm sure you're all over that. You can get all the Teresa Wentzler charts on this website, and it's as clear as a bell. It's blown up. It's much bigger. So anyway, just a little, I suppose, and I've just got them all in this box. But you know, as I said, there were 7 skeins. There's that much thread. I mean, look at all the greens. And it was, well, the hanks that came in this, I mean, it was very easy to work out what was hank 1, hank 2, hank 3 because they made it. If you haven't sorted threads, I mean, it's something I don't do often, but if you've got an old school kit, you do have to sort your threads. And I have done a lot of it over the years, but this is the biggest one I've ever done by far. It's a massive piece, and when it is going to be my probably the piece I'm going to be the most proud of. I have got a full coverage piece. I finished it with Van Gogh Sunflowers. I'm probably very proud of it at the moment, but I think this one's going to beat it because I've overcome my fear of it, I suppose. So there's a little bit of a feeling of, wow, I could do it. And I've been thinking about doing this chart for so long. So when it was offered to me by Sarah, I just said, yes, I'll pay for postage and get it out to me. But that's the, you can see some of the blending filaments, the Peacock blending filament in there, and then it comes in through the tail as well. That's the start of the tree. I've been showing this on Instagram. My friend Jay from Jay's Cross Stitches jumped in and started hers as well. So that's exciting to have someone stitching along at the same time as you are. I really thought that this thing would take me years and years to finish. I don't think it will. I don't want to make any proclamations, but I feel like if I focused on it, I could finish it in the next 6 months. But at the moment, I'm loving it. I don't want to stop working on it, but I might want to stop working on it soon, so I don't want to promise anything. But it is an absolutely doable. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, this is a tree branch here, and that's got 3 threads of just the DMC, so that's a quite chunky thing. So she's very clever with working with her textures and these diamond eyelets. Yeah, I've got bad shade happening here. Those diamond eyelets are beautiful, just stunning. So very, very happy to have that on the way, and I've broken my fear of doing a Teresa Wentzler, and I want to do them all now. I'm not really into dragons and fantasy and things, but she has got a lot of really beautiful botanical charts, birds. I could do all those. On the other part of doing this chart, I think it was Karen's handiwork. Karen on Instagram, sorry if I've remembered your name wrongly. She suggested, because I said I had 79 blends, and she suggested using a foam core board, and I had one of these here and I thought perfect. So I've got written down the symbol and the thread, and initially I thought, well, I'll just set up my 79 needles with all thread in it. And I thought, hang on, when I counted my spare needles, I think I only had 40 something spare needles. I thought, no, there's no need to do that, because I'll just do it as I go, and then as stuff gets left at the end, where I've stitched on the chart naturally to the end of its sort of sequential placing on the where I've come up to, I'll just put them away onto here. So I haven't used all of them yet, but you can see I've got some leftovers there. So before I start a symbol, I come to this and have a look. If I've got leftover thread, I'll go again, because there's 2 in each of these. Some of them have got 3 with the blending thread. So this, thank you Karen, was an awesome idea, because years ago I used to have some of those needle keep things from, I can't think of the name. You've seen them. They're long and thin, but they only hold 20 something needles. And I thought to myself, I don't want to pay whatever for those. So that was a godsend. I had that bit of foam core here. It's very easy to write on, because the outside of foam core is paper. So thank you Karen, that was a wonderful suggestion. And when I showed my peacock video and talking about my last YouTube video and talking about wanting to do these peacock charts for the year, my friend Jo piped in and said, oh, do you want some more? And I said, okay. So she came over and gifted me some more peacock charts. So thank you, Jo, you wonderful woman. So we have here donations by Jo. This is a Just Nan. No, sorry, Cross and Patch it's called. There's some hard danger on that. And some peacocks there. This is a Just Nan, Peacock Majesty. A Collector's Gallery. These are some bright colours, a bit of a 1920s look. This is a Afghan. I lost my words then. Afghan with a sort of a fantasy looking peacock dragon. And this last one, which I've started to kit up, is a Barbara Thompson. Is it called anything? Peacock Fire Screen. So that's quite big, and that definitely has an Art Nouveau feel to it. So I'll look forward to stitching those at some point. I would like to get some stitches in this before the year's out, but I've been quite fallen in love with my Teresa Wentzler, and I just can't seem to move off it. But I know at some point I'll feel the need to move on to another project, but as I'm just deeply involved with that at the moment, I didn't want to move on while I'm still really, really enjoying working on it. I wanted to stay with it. So I'll just show you some of the other peacock things I've been working on. I made myself, I don't know if I showed you this, this was a Tilda little fabric pack I brought, and I made this project bag with some applique. I've showed it on Instagram, and I sewed on the back label thing. That was an idea from Marlene from Stitching by the Lake, which I thought was a wonderful idea. So in this bag, I have this chart. So it's a full coverage piece by Mystic Stitch, and it's a vintage Macmillan poster. So this is an 18 count Aida. It's a full coverage piece. It's very big, and that's my start a few months ago. I don't know how you're going for light here. In fact, I might just try opening those curtains there and see if I can get a little bit better light for you. Is that better? Oh, that's a bit better. Yeah, so there's the piece. And we've just upped the top there. This is going to take me approximately 300 years to finish because it's very big. It is 16, just under 17 inches by 25 inches. It's big, but it's one, I've had that for a very long time, and I wanted to stitch it for a long time, and I never started it. So this Year of Peacocks has been really good for getting me just to get going on things that I've had put aside and thought about and wanted to, and all of that. So this is a piece that Olivia and Elena, the sisters, gifted me a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Peacocks. It's Courtney collection. It's called Peacock. She's a doozy of a chart too, and I've just done it. I've just done that. I've done a sort of greyish background and just plain black thread, just exactly as it's shown on the front there. I think that's quite nice, and it'll be a visual difference for the wall of the peacocks not to be all the same colour. And I got through 3 pages on that when I had a start. So that was my start on that one, and that's 3 pages worth. But that's really nice, quite mindless stitching. There's no fabric, there's no thread changes, of course, so you can just bang through that quite quickly, and I quite liked that. I'll get back to that at some point before the year is out. So one that I worked on at the craft retreat I went to, it was a scrapbooking retreat. I'm not sure if I showed this in my last one or if I don't know when I last filmed. I don't film. I don't have a schedule. So here is Mirabilia Lady Hera. And this was definitely one I wanted to get to this year. In this Year of Peacocks, I've had her kitted, must be 5 years now. Stunning Peacock Tail. So the centerpiece of this chart where I started had you going down on the yellow dress, and then we're down into the peacock tail, a little bit of the drapes over here, a little bit of her bouquet there. So yeah, that's going to be beautiful. And I have done that on Vintage Country Mocha, and it gives a similar look to the back of that, you know, Hessian tan sort of background. So that's going to be lovely to finish one day. I'm at that point now because I'm halfway through this goal of Year of Peacocks. I'm sort of thinking about, do I knuckle down and blow through 1 or 2 of these, or do I just keep doing bits on every one? Or it doesn't matter. I might go for more than a year on the peacocks, but I've got so many things calling my name in other areas of my stitching. I don't know if I could do that. Here's another bag I made at some point this year. This was an Orphan Block. I'm making a quilt that somehow I couldn't get this to square up in the right size. So I just made an Orphan Block. I just put a wooden button there, William Morris prints, and just some like upholstery fabric I had here, quilted through here, just padded it out with some denim. Little zipper pull when I went to Missouri Star Quilt Co. on Ali's big trip to the States. You get given these with so much that you spend so much, you get one of these. So I came home with about 8 of those. Okay, so this piece in here is by Esther Williams. It's fun. It's a, I haven't got back to this for a while. I'm not sure if I've even stitched on this since I showed Peacocks last. It's lovely. It's on a 14 count, so it's nice and easy on my old eyes. And I'd love to get back to this. And this is one that I think I will walnut stain when it's time to have it finished, to bring back, because it's on cream, just to bring it back a bit to a more country looking sepia coloured thing. This is a piece, it's a Riola's kit that my mother had that decided she didn't want to do it, and I have completely changed the look of it. It is on an XJU design something or other. No, I don't have that info here, or do I? Morning Coffee. 32 count Morning Coffee. And I have changed it so that it is black around the border instead of the light ferny green. And obviously that's on white. And I've put it on this. This is in timeout because something is going on in this area that's off. I don't know what's going on in that area. I'm out some threads here or something, or his head, somewhere around there. I moved to a Teresa Wentzler because it was easier. I'm just joking. This isn't hard at all. It's just a lot of colour changes you can see. And I think her fabrics always smell so nice. It's a 32 count, but I'm guessing it's not a 32 because it's hand dyed and it feels and looks smaller. I haven't done a count, but it's harder for my eyes to work on. So I will get back to this. It's fun. It was a kit. It's got everything in there. The threads are nice to work with. I just added the black because the black border, obviously there's no black in this. That's going to look lovely on the wall when it's finished one day. Obviously, I'll have to go back and find where that mistake is and fix him up. That's just in one of my bags I made with yo-yos from Lena. Hello, Lena. Beautiful girl. And my last peacock one I've worked on here is from Needlecraft House. This is really another one like the Courtney collection. It's just one colour, brainless. I don't have to think about it. I have done a similar red, 347 I think. And I've just done it on a Ada that I had here. Yep, DMC 347. And we're getting away with that. I'm going to have a nice piece on the side here to do something else with. And that sort of comes down to about here or so and goes across. So I'm probably about halfway on that, I suppose. Maybe a bit more. So that's Needlecraft House. Again, just a quick, easy one. So that's all my current peacock situation, what I've been working on. And just loving it. As I said, I just have a variety of stuff within that category, so I've not struggled to stay motivated to stay working on peacocks because all of my peacock charts are so different, so I don't feel I'm missing out on something. I do have others that I can start and get on with, but I'm at that point that I'm loving what I'm doing, so I don't want to just have little starts and everything and, feel overwhelmed. I'll just go as I go with that. I don't know, but that Teresa Wentzler one has given me a lot of confidence to do other things that have caused me grief. So I've got a chatelaine that I started years ago, medieval town chatelaine. And for some unknown reason, I started it on, I think I got my centimetres and my inches mixed up. So the piece of fabric, instead of being 44 inches, is 44 centimetres, and it's way too small. So I've started that, and I was a bit intimidated by that. But when I look at that chart now, I'm not intimidated by it because I've been doing this Teresa Wentzler. So she has taught me a lot. She's amazing. If you're interested in her designs, have a look at patterns online and just try a small one. Her ability, you've got to remember with her, she was designing pre-overdyes. There weren't overdyes. All those companies are out now that everyone raves about their thread. They weren't a thing. They weren't a thing when I started cross-stitching in the 80s. They weren't around. So, and that's when she started designing and things. So all of the beautiful shadings and things that she gets aren't from just saying use whatever overdyed from Weeks or Gentle Arts or whatever. She blends threads to get an amazing thread choice. So I've got nothing but respect for her as a designer and an artist, and I do look forward to going back to my chatelaine at some point and restarting that and not feeling so scared. And I've got some other charts here that I've been wanting to do at some point but a little bit intimidated by. So definitely that Teresa Wentzler has given me confidence to go on, and it's made me a better stitcher. It's made me a more patient stitcher, and I got that system up within a couple of days with putting it, the hanks and things I sorted in one day, but putting them all on those cards and setting it up didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought, and I'm really confident now. So I haven't struck any problems with it. So I'm uber happy with that. Did I show you this bag? This was a tapestry I pulled. I've got 4 of these that were my mother's from like the 80s that she had nice chunky wooden frames. In fact, here's another one just at my feet, right? So these are Australian native birds and animals and things. So I've got 4 of these, and they're in beautiful chunky wooden frames. But I've had these up in my home over the years, and I've got a couple of long, thin ones that I kept up in the home. But I said to her, do you mind if I recycle the frames and use your stitching for something else? And she said, no, I don't mind. I gave them to you 20 years ago. Do what you want. So I said, they're not going to be wasted. I'm not going to throw them out. So I've made them into a project bag. Again, just sewed that down so I can write the information there. And this was some Japanese fabric I had here, and it was just lovely olive greens that echo this. But I'm happy with this. I see this all the time. I use it all the time, and I've got the frame is in the house, and it perfectly fit Winchester Mystery Mansion by Debbie Patrick that I framed last year. And I had this out, and I've just was waiting to make it into a project bag. So that's that. So I'm very happy with that. I like the top-loaded project bag. So the whole front of the bag is the canvas, like the art canvas that you can play with and do what you want. I just kept this one pretty plain because I really wanted this tapestry by my mum to be like the focus of this. But the back I've just done just green squares and just quilted it. Okay, so I haven't really brought too much stuff. Little odds and pieces here. I normally put them on Instagram. I did buy this Fox and Rabbit, Charlotte Mills 1844, because it's stunning, and it's probably one I'll start as soon as my peacock year is over because I think it's beautiful. And I've got a finish that I'm working on for one of my peacock things, and I wanted to transfer some Japanese embroidery. I've got a pile of stuff here. Oops, that was a close call. Okay, let's see if I can it's in there. Okay, so I finished this Tempting Tangles Peacock pinwheels, and I stained it with walnut ink, and I went a little bit too crazy on the walnut ink, so I had to wash it out, and I'm just debating whether I need to get rid of a little bit more still. So I've made it quite sepia toned, and then I want to make this into a wall hanging because it's too big to frame, and you know, I'm not it's not my favourite Peacock Finish, so I don't want to spend a lot of money on frames and stuff. So I've got this book, right? Japanese quilt blocks, and in here is a little bit of Japanese embroidery as well. So I was looking through here and thinking, how can I incorporate a little bit of hand stitching on the corner blocks of that wall hanging, just to add a little bit something different. And I have chosen this one, right? I had to transfer that onto a fabric. So normally when you transfer embroidery designs onto a fabric, quite often you're using a muslin or you're using a see-through fabric that you can just use a light box and put your piece of fabric on top of your design, and there you go, mark it out, you're done. But when you're using a thick fabric and it's not a see-through fabric, how do you transfer the design onto the fabric? Well, the Japanese use coloured tracing paper. So this has got blues and yellows and whatnot. So I use tracing paper. So there's carbon on one side. So that's how you do that. So that was exciting to find that on Etsy, buy a packet of that, and I've started stitching. It's just a running stitch, so I'll do 4 of these. They'll be in the corners of that peacock wall hanging, and then I'll do some sashing. Might do some chunky big quilt stitching. I just watched a video of Olivia's and I thought, yeah, I haven't done that for years. I should do that because that would suit the finish that I'm doing. So I might do some diamond stitching down the side of the sashing that's in just a running stitch that's thick with some pearl cotton here. I've got a heap of it. And for those flowers, I'm just using garden trellis, cottage colours, crescent colours. Oh God, this thread's old. So that's what this is there. And I've got some white pearl, like Japanese thread that I'll use for that diamond thing I just mentioned. So I had other ideas for that finish, but they were too bright. They were these colours here, and they were very bright peacock colours, and they're too bright to go with that wall hanging. So what I've done is I've looked at this that I finished many moons ago. It's a Barbara Hammett design, and I'm going to use those, and I'm going to make a project bag with that. So that's lining up. So anyway, when I brought that Japanese carbon paper from Etsy, it's from a company called Bitten by the Bug, and so these are some little pre-cut boro stitching, it's called. So it's like a running stitch they want you to do and throw these scraps together. Lovely indigo coloured scraps, and I've got some indigo coloured 10 fat 8s here. So I'll do something with those at some point. And also I couldn't resist a glasses boro pouch. So you can see there, I'll take it out and show you. So in this kit it's got everything I need, and I thought it was quite cute, and it was very reasonably priced with the needles and the clasp and the little bits of thread and fabric, more fabric and lining, and the instructions. So I thought that would be a really cool glasses case for me, because I've only got one glasses case and 2 glasses, 2 pairs of glasses. So that came home with me when I was looking for Japanese carbon paper to do that design on. One other thing, I read a lot. I read a book a week, maybe 2 books a week, depending how thin they are. And so on my Instagram, I always talk about everything I'm reading. Sometimes I even forget to post that I've started a new book and finished it. But this is a book that I read recently, The Library Book by Susan Orlean. And I really want to talk about this because this is a fantastic book. This encompasses someone's love of the library. The author Susan Orlean, who wrote The Orchid Thief, that's another book years ago that was converted into a movie with Meryl Streep that I saw the movie and loved it, but I would like to track down that book as well. This I have heard discussed on book podcasts, and I came across it in a secondhand shop and I grabbed it. And if you love libraries, if you love books, if you have nostalgic childhood memories of libraries, this is 100% a book that you need to read. You need to go out now and get this book, The Library Book. It centers around the LA Library, and in that she pulls in so many quirky tangents across so much stuff that you really need to read this and just enjoy someone of a deep intellect that can have all these threads of a story and pull them together. It's non-fiction. It sort of centers around the fire that happened in the LA Library in 1984, the suspect that they pinged for that, the story of his sort of being charged and whatnot, but also the history of libraries, how many libraries have been burnt in different wars. She discusses different things like that. She discusses the history of LA and the building of LA as a city through the growth of this library and the many faces that this library took, and the beautiful old art decor building that it's in now, and the restoration that happened, and Hollywood as an industry, and so many tangents and quirky stories are encompassed in this book. I cannot more thoroughly recommend it to you. I lapped it up. I absolutely loved it. I think it's extremely well done. It's beautifully written. It's almost like a love story to LA in a way. She is a transplant. She's come from, I think she's a New Yorker. But it's definitely, I'm sure you've heard of this book. It's in Reese Witherspoon's book club, so I'm sure it's well out there. But I am a huge fan of this book, and I would love to hear if you've read it. It's for all book lovers. If you're a bibliophile like me, obsessed with books, you 100% need to read that. So I think that's about all I've got to say. Hopefully I will get to making this in the next, before I film again, I'll make this project bag. I do have another one of these half done. These were things that I made and I was going to put on the front of book covers for my kids' prep teachers as a Christmas present. They've both left school. That was a very long time ago, and that one was completed, not finished. I finished them years after they were due, but so I had 2 completed. That's a completed one. Another one's on a book cover, and I've got another one half completed. So I'll make a couple of project bags out of them and hopefully show them to you next time. I've got some half completed project bags that I'll show you when they're finished. I haven't really been quilting, which is sad. I've got this one just sitting here. I haven't really got back to him. Just really obsessed with that Teresa Wentzler Peacock Tapestry. Surprisingly so. I did not expect to. I just started it pretty well the day I finished sorting the threads, and I didn't expect to be as fully engaged by it. I thought I would hit a roadblock and be scared about some of the things. How will I keep this blended thread system neat? How will I manage this? How will I manage that? And it's just been a dream to work on. It's on 25 count even weave. It's easy to see. The fractionals are easy because it's on even weave. So yeah, I am a huge fan of that, and I can't believe how much I've gotten done in such a short period of time. I'll have a look when I actually started. I've got my phone here. I think, you know, I have genuinely surprised myself by what I managed to get. So when did I start this? 14th of October. So today's the 21st. So I've been going on that project for 5 weeks. And to get, where are we? To get this much stitching done in 5 weeks, I mean, I don't know if you all are impressed, but I am. That's 5 weeks of stitching. I mean, that's pretty good. So we'll just go. I'm just going to ride the Teresa Wentzler wave for as long as I feel like it, and then obviously stop. I've got lots of other Peacock things to get on with. I'm not even feeling the need to stitch Christmas. Last year was the first year ever where I stitched seasonally. I stitched Mirabilia's Santa and got a chunk of that done. I'm probably halfway through his big fat head because it's a big portrait of Santa's face. And I did love doing that, but I'm just not even feeling the need to stitch seasonal. I'm really, as I said, normally I don't. That was the first year last year. I joined Vonna Pfeiffer's Christmas BAP Facebook group. Anyway, so, well, deep halfway through the year of Peacocks, staying strong, loving it. I've got to finish. Oh, I didn't show you. I'll show you next time. Anyway, I'll finish this. It's on the wall in the lounge, and at the end of the videos now, so I'll show you next time. But anyway, I mightn't film until I have a wrap up of the year. We'll see how we go, but I'll show you that next time. And love all the stitching, enjoy what you're doing. Fun talking to you all again. Hope you're going well, and happy stitching to you all. Bye.